That is James Mennie. He is over at the Montreal Gazette. And Jim, you want to start with looking back 30 years ago? I think we may have talked about this on Friday, but you saw there's a Leger poll out today showing, support for referendum. Two-thirds of people want nothing to do with this. And it does pose the question as to what PSPP does going forward. So
yeah, I don't. Honestly, I don't give a damn what happened 30 years ago, Aaron. I'm worried about what's going to be happening 12 months from now. And the only person more worried than me is José Plamondon, who's out of the Parti Québécois. This guy has painted himself into a corner with an option, and frankly, he should have known better because these numbers are hardly new. 65 against Quebec independence, 35 in favor. Those numbers have remained stable, but this guy has one might say hitched his wagon to a tree stump with this particular brand of policy, and it's not just. It seems that I don't want to impute any intention to Leger, but man, they had some fun with this poll because they're also pointing out that 55% of people are just frightened. They're worried about the whole idea of Quebec independence. About 53% would rather we sign the Constitution and remained in Canada. All of these givens, Aaron, all of these touchstones for every separatist politician and perhaps separatist commentator in the Quebec media, which really have been taken as a matter of fact, are in fact proving to be, well, at least in this day and age, vestiges of a past which, quite frankly, no longer exists. And the problem now, and we had this conversation in terms of Plamondon's Plan B, which is going to have to be, they'll find in the fine traditions of the PQ, a way to weasel out of the whole idea of holding a referendum, of raising the issue of independence, when clearly so many Quebecers, and yet Quebecers named Tremblay, veut rien savoir of the whole thing. That people have moved on, and there's almost a quaint, almost kind of an heirloom feeling when you see politicians like Saint-Pierre Plamondon, who should know better, basically saying, "Oh no, this is it. We're going to be doing this, and the old magic wand, and everything will be fine." And no one's buying into it. The only passing grade Quebec separatism got in this poll was that 65% said it would protect the French language and culture. That's it. Everything else, healthcare, education, the economy, economic development, the majority of respondents, or very close to the majority of respondents, said no way. So you kind of wonder, well, how do you wrangle this? How do you twist this into a pretzel and sell it in time for the next election? The short answer is no, you can't. You cannot do that. So I think the big question now, well, there's two actually. One, how does Plamondon come up with a plan B, a face-saving excuse to sidestep the entire issue? And also, I'm still waiting on this, as so many other things. I'm waiting to hear anything, a word, a whistle, a song from the Quebec Liberal Party about this particular poll finding and the fact that their real competition, their actual genuine competition in this next election, seems to have handcuffed itself. Because I apologize in advance, as always, if it's already come out, but
it hasn't.
I haven't heard word one from those people.
Which is really, and just as you say that, Jim, I think the last thing we're going to remember having heard from the provincial, Liberals are those two words from Pablo Rodriguez about Bill 21 buying, quote, social peace. That's not a good look.
No, it's not a good look, and quite frankly, it's a weaselly kind of approach to take to basically legalize discrimination, or I should say illegal discrimination covered by the notwithstanding clause. And for him to, I tell you, when we talked about this when it first happened, I was gobsmacked. Even if you felt that way, you don't say it out. That's the part you don't say out loud, because right now you've told everybody in your so-called safe constituencies that, you know what, maybe you're next. If it comes to social peace, maybe we'll erase your language even more. Maybe we'll erase the services that are given to you even more. And that's another topic we'll get to a little later on the show. But the fact here is that I'm sorry, Aaron, when did they plug in the Quebec Liberal Party and hit the on switch?
Yeah. Look, I think a lot of people are probably asking the same question. So, and clearly they're listening, Jim. It's going to be interesting to see how they do react to this, when they do react to this. So we'll have to wait and find out.
Okay.
Meanwhile, if they do, and I think they will, meanwhile, you wrote here, the CAQ's latest jurisdictional belly aching is even more whiny and petty than usual. What are you talking about here?
Well, the fact of the matter is Ottawa has spent $52 million over 5 years to improve access to English language healthcare in Montreal and in Quebec City. Okay. Now it's done this. It's not Health Canada. It's the Official Languages Department, which does the same thing for French minority populations elsewhere in the country to get them access to healthcare in French in their neighborhoods, in the areas where they live. Well, that's enough. That just sent our nice Simon Jolin Barrette, who is responsible for the ironically named portfolio of Canadian relations, to basically say they have overstepped their jurisdiction. They have no rights. They have to give that $52 million to us, and we'll determine, thank you very much, where that money will go. And it's like, did I miss that referendum that hasn't been held yet? Did I miss the unilateral Declaration of Independence? Because last I heard, Quebec is still a part of Canada. I know that, on certain occasions, Francois Legault was able to convince then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that perhaps Quebec had already separated and, rewrote the preamble to the Official Languages Act. Maybe all that happened. And once I say, no, but this is it. We're not talking, first of all, I hate to say it this way, $52 million in this day and age is not a big bunch of money for government operations. And secondly, to improve access to English language healthcare in Montreal and in Quebec City. And for this knee-jerk, pig in a gate reaction, screaming like a pig stuck in a gate that, this is terrible and whatever, dial it down. Really, really, really. It is a fin de regime. Your party is finished. Your government will cease to exist after October of next year. But in the meantime, stop making yourself look even more petty, backwater, and quite frankly, out of your league. To trip off like that, and normally I wouldn't jump on stuff like this, because it's another day at the office here in Quebec. But the fact of the matter is, when you're talking about this particular issue, this funding for this particular topic, and to still turn around and say, no, we get the money and we'll decide how it's going to be used.
But let me ask the question, Jim, because I think someone, other people might be asking it too. Did the federal government not foresee that this would become an issue, given what's happened in the past?
Maybe they are, and maybe they're dragging their coat, and maybe. I mean, I'm hoping against hope here, Aaron, but maybe somebody in Ottawa is saying, you know what, put up or shut up. You want to have a fight over this? Don't turn around and talk as if you're an independent country. You're not. You're part of Canada, and this is our jurisdiction, and we'll do what we want. And if you don't like it, tell me what you're going to do. Don't complain. Don't tell me what I should have done. I know what I was supposed to do. Tell me what you intend to do now. Or will you be withholding some funding to Ottawa? I'm saying ironically, because you know what I mean. It's like stop now. Okay, you guys have been cosplaying in the Quebec nation now for 8 years, and that's all going to come crashing down. And we just got through talking about the possibility that the other alternative, the Parti Québécois, may have painted itself into a corner, as I say, using its tongue as a brush. But all that said, in the meantime, we're still a part of Canada. Money goes to where, federal money goes to where the feds say it's going to go. And quite frankly, if you've got a problem with that, Monsieur Jean Barrette or Premier Legault or anybody else, do something about it. But stop hopping up and down and making loud noises that don't signify a thing.
Jim, I asked our audience, and I'm going to ask it again when we get done here, with respect to this poll that came out on the referendum. One of the interesting questions was, do you identify yourself as a proud Quebecer or a proud Canadian? And the number of proud Canadians is up substantially from the last time, of course, which is going back 30 years. Are you a proud Quebecer or a proud Canadian? Do you identify as one or the other?
I'll probably get in trouble with everyone now. If anything, in terms of identifying myself, I identify myself as a Montreal or semi-ex-Montreal. But certainly in terms of, I'm a Canadian.
Yeah.
The idea that, and I don't know, and I'm not entirely sure when you look at these numbers, Aaron, this idea that, you feel that you're a Quebecer, you're whatever. Quebecer, even that term is relatively recent. It used to be des Canadiens Français. But anyway, maybe I'm missing something here, that maybe that poll is completely off the money. Or maybe, Aaron, as we're discovering with each passing day, that the place where we live is not necessarily the place that is depicted by local media and politicians.
We leave it at that. James Mennie at the Montreal Gazette. Thank you, Jim.
Close your eyes, and you can hear the entire world come alive. 2026 FIFA World Cup is on. And you can stream it all live on TSN Radio. From the opening kickoff to the final celebration, every match, every moment. Listen to FIFA World Cup on TSN Radio.
Gives Canada the lift off.
Available on iHeartRadio,